Hi, this is the lesson number 21 in this series of British literature. So far we have discussed a number of poems from, or number of tales I should say, from Canterbury Tales, that large epic poem. And now in this lesson we shall talk about Pardoner's Tale. So there is a religious figure among the pilgrims and he is called as the Pardoner, who gives pardon to the people for their sins. So about his characteristics, it is said that he is a greedy man and he is a partner. The contradiction of his profession and his qualities. So now to start the story, it is about three young men, and they are shown as they are drinking, gambling, blaspheming, means they are saying things against the religion and against the God, and the partner condemns them because it's a sin, and he condemns even the listeners that they should not do such things as these young boys or young men are doing. Then the partner goes further and starts telling the story that these three young men, they are drinking and they are enjoying and blaspheming, and then they hear a bell signaling that a burial. Mostly we see that the bell signals that someone's burial is coming, and they come to know that it is of their friend, one of their friend. They are three, so might be their fourth friend. And then an old man comes and tells them it's about a privy thief. This term is used, you can take it down as privy thief, and and this friend of theirs, he is killed by death. So the term again, it's a somewhat allegorical. Death has killed him. And then these boys, these young men, they asked him where can they find death, where the death lives. They inquire about this. So it's all going and allegorical, means I would like to rephrase the things. These three young men, they hear a signal of the bell, means someone's burial was coming, and it was of their friend. And for their friend, the term is used as privy thief. And the old man who was with the burial, and he tells them that he was killed by death, and the death can be found at the foot of an oak tree. So a particular place is told, and where they can find death. So these three boys or young men, they went there and find nothing but what they found under the oak tree: gold, plenty of gold. So now you must be relating this story to something you might have heard in Indian tradition as well. So they found lots of money there. So all, they were greedy and they forget about killing the death, because their main purpose was of coming there of to kill that death. But now they got themselves involved in collecting that gold. So now they were with full of money and everything they have, and they were fully tired as well. So now they were also waiting that none should notice them. After a little thought, they decided that they should go to some other city, but it's so dark in the night, so it will take so long time, and further they were hungry. So they thought that they should spend night there, and then they draw a lot, means one of them will bring some food to eat, and the other two will stay there and provide protection to what they have achieved or what they have collected in the form of gold and money. The youngest of the three went to the city and or to the town and brought some food. But what he did, because he was also greedy, he thought that he should have the whole. So he poisoned the food. And when he came back, and the two boys who were there, they were also planning the similar sort of thing. As he just came there, they kill him without giving any warning or telling anything. They just killed him. And then the two boys, or these young men, they were happy, and then they enjoyed the food. But how could they enjoy? Because it was poisonous, and then all three were killed. And then the pardoner, the storyteller, he comes with a lesson that all the gold and silver you have, you should spare. You means you should leave those things and get pardons from him. So pardoner is presented as a religious figure, and he is asking everyone to leave gold and such materialistic things. But he himself is so greedy. This is also told. So the next story we have, it's Miller's Tale. This is the story we shall discuss now. Miller's Tale, narrated by the Miller, Robin the Miller. And I have told you in the Reeve's Tale that Reeve mocked the Miller. And why he mocked? Because in Miller's Tale, because Miller told the story before it was the turn of Reeve. So in his story, Miller presented the character of a carpenter, the Reeve, and he presented this vulgar story, and he insulted the character completely, and this really made the Reeve get angry. Even the writer Sir Geoffrey Chaucer warns the readers that it would be so vulgar and one may skip the page if he desires. Means he is clearly warning the readers that one, if they desire, they may not read this, because this story is going to be very much vulgar, means something obscene. And similar thing, I would like to suggest you that okay, as I have gone through the story, I will try my best to tell you the story, but it's up to you. You may skip, as the warning is given by Chaucer, so I am also giving you the same. So what is the plot? In this we have a character namely as John, and he is an old carpenter, but he has a young wife, so there is a mismatch between their age. And his wife name is Ellison. She is extremely beautiful. And there are two more characters. The one is Nicholas. Nicholas is a clerk from Oxford, and he is staying in John's house on rent, and he has his eye on Ellison. He wants to seduce her. And another character we have Absalom. So Nicholas, and another character we have Absalom. He is also a clerk, and similar with him, he also has his eye on her. One day, John, the husband, he is out in the other town, and at that time Nicholas gets a chance to seduce his wife. Being reluctant initially, the wife, the name of the wife is Ellison. So she gets agree, and their affair starts. On the other hand, Absalom too tries, and he tries several tricks, and but she simply rebuffed him, his efforts, everything. He's rejected, and now Nicholas wants to have a full night with her. This was his desire, and so he tells John that he had a vision of God. So Nicholas is telling John that he had a vision of God. In addition to the vision of God, there is a prophecy as well, that there will be a flood twice bigger than the one of the Noah's time. Noah means a figure in Bible. So means there will be a flood, huge flood, and they can save. Who is telling this? Nicholas is telling this to John, that they can save from this flood if they prepare the things. They will have to make a boat sort of things or something like that, from the large 3 tubs, because he's thinking about himself, Nicholas, and then about John and Ellison. So he's saying that they should prepare 3 tubs and hang them with the trees, and using ropes as well. And when the water will come, they will cut down the ropes so that they will float in the water. So this was the plan, and John believes him, and they do the same thing. In fact, Nicholas is planning everything to fulfill his own desire, and John is believing him, and so they prepare the 3 tubs on the tree and set them, and now in the night John is waiting for the flood and he falls asleep. On the other hand, Alison and Nicholas, they come down off the tubs one by one and go to the house that is almost close to the that tree where the tub is tied. And in the house they had their complete night, means they are enjoying and having all the fleshly sins. And then Absalom, the other person who is rival to Nicholas, Absalom comes there and he sees through everything through the window, a small window, and he sees that Nicholas is enjoying the things with Alison. So what Absalom does, Absalom knocks at the window and asks uh, Alison for a kiss. Initially she refuses, but she thought of mocking him. So what she does, it was so dark, what she does, she presented her ears. Geoffrey Chaucer used the word ears, and it is signifying, or it is for her bottom or buttock, whatever you call. So these are disgusting things now Geoffrey Chaucer is presenting, and she makes him kiss her bottom. And okay, it was dark, but yet Absalom realizes that it wasn't her cheek, it was her bottom. So he really felt himself as fooled by them. Then he goes away and comes back with a hot red, means red hot rod, and he again knocks at the window and begs for another kiss because he wants to take revenge now, and he was saying that he will give her a ring in exchange. At this, Nicholas thought that he will mock him now, and now what he did, now Nicholas presents his buttocks, and intentionally he farts as well on his face. And what Absalom does, he just pushes that red hot rod into his buttocks, and by this there is a term he used for this, that amidst the earth. For this Geoffrey Chaucer used the term amidst the earth. And then Nicholas was crying for water because he was feeling so much pain, water and water and water. And that time John wakes up. Hearing these words, he thought that flood has come. So he eventually just cut down the ropes, and his tub just came down to the earth and breaks his arm. So he got himself injured. People gathered there and they were just laughing at John. Though the story ends and it is okay. There is an ending line: the tale is doomed and the gods save all the rowdy. Means the culprits or the conspira conspirators, they all were saved, and the innocent or the fool person, like the central character we have John, he is proved to be a mad person, and that's how the story ends. So in this lesson we have discussed the two stories. The first one was of the Pardoner's Tale, about three young men and their desire and their avarice, their greed for money. And the second one, the most disgusting story in the Canterbury Tales, that is the Miller's Tale. So I hope that you have understood these both these stories, and this is also the central idea, because Chaucer himself has said that he is presenting every means the vulgarity of the society, vices and corruption and everything. So that is why this in this most of these stories you have seen that the central idea is something that is not a moral one. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. In the upcoming lesson we shall discuss all these important questions from the Canterbury Tales which were asked in the previous year question papers. So we shall discuss, and also a brief about all these pilgrims. So that will be the last lesson on this Canterbury Tales. And if you are interested, you can go for more stories, and if possible I will also try my best to bring some more stories from Canterbury Tales. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.